Hello everyone and welcome back to another special video about an inside look of the COVID-19 situation here in Japan. In my last video, I talked about how the Japanese government issued a state of emergency for 7 prefectures in Japan and how that will affect the life here. If you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend seeing it. It's the first link down in the description, and it'll give you a good idea as to what I'm going to say next in this video. And also, since that video, there have been a number of changes. The first change is that the state of emergency has now expanded throughout all of Japan. Things that are mentioned in the previous video, for example, not going outdoors and doing remote work, all those things are now being applied throughout all of Japan, throughout all the prefectures. The second change is that the Japanese government is now providing a one-time payment of 100,000 yen to all residents in Japan, regardless of nationality and age. This means that yes, newborn babies and foreigners who are working in Japan will get this payment. So how it works is that the Japanese government will send one letter to each household, and the head of the household will collect all of the money for the whole family. There are some things you need. For example, you need a resident status. So if you're a tourist or if you're just here on a short term, you will not get that payment. Of course, you also need a physical address for them to mail it to you. So if you're staying at like a hotel, or if you don't even have a place where you live, then of course that situation might not affect you. On a more personal note, these changes have barely affected my work or my day-to-day life here in Japan. Almost all of the work that I do is remote, but I still need to physically go to the office, which means that I still need to go outside, I still need to take public transportation, and I still need to be in a public environment. This really sucks because the whole point of a state of emergency is to stay home and to prevent human-to-human interaction, but that's not changing much for me. And to add to my point, here's a video of a park near my apartment as I was walking past to go to a grocery store. As you can see, there are still tons of people outside, and they're essentially enjoying the weekend as if nothing is happening or nothing will happen to them. And also, they're not just passing by, but you see them playing sports, you see them in a park, you see them running around, you see people even having a tent or camping outside, which is kind of ridiculous. On a more positive note, the governor of Osaka has publicly shamed 6 pachinko parlors in Osaka. And if you don't know what pachinkos are, they're essentially casinos, or Japan's legal casinos, and he has publicly shamed them, which is a right step in the right direction. I hope they'll continue to announce company names like this to force those companies to close, or at least have some preventative measures. As for what will happen in the future, well, no one will know. As mentioned in the previous video, the state of emergency was supposed to end on May 6th, which is the end of Golden Week, but there are talks of that being extended by a week and possibly extended by a month. The main reason of this state of emergency was to decrease personal interaction by 80%. And as you can see in the video with the people in the park, they're not really getting the message. Also, that decrease is almost non-existent, as commuters in Tokyo and even in Osaka have decreased by maybe like 7 or 8%, and it's nowhere close to the 80% they're trying to reach. Overall, as you might not have noticed, I'm pretty pissed off with the situation and how the Japanese government is treating it. They're not taking it seriously, and if they're not taking it seriously, well, no one here in Japan is taking it seriously. And also, personally, I need to keep exposing myself in public, or that sounds pretty wrong, but I need to be in a public area which has greater exposure to the COVID-19 virus, which again will increase my risk of being infected, and I won't know because the incubation period is 2 weeks. So if you do get sick, it's probably too late. Anyway, that's it for this video. I know it's a bit more serious, it's a bit more dark, but I hope this will give you again a updated view about the life in Japan from a perspective of someone living here. If you have any other questions or comments, please leave it down in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Also, if you want to stay updated with what's going to happen soon, I recommend subscribing so you do stay on top of the recent news here in Japan. So as always, stay safe, stay indoors, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.